I was scheduled to stand at this podium to deliver the March monthly service in 2020. However, due to COVID-19, the Canadian government advised against all international travel, and so I was therefore unable to fly out. I phoned the bishop to apologize and asked if there was any way my sermon could still be delivered. Then the ever tech-savvy Tracy suggested presenting it by way of Zoom. A large TV was brought into the sanctuary, allowing me to see the bishop and those participating in the service while I delivered the sermon. I was truly grateful to be able to fulfill my duty. During the pandemic and throughout the 3-year, 1,000-day period leading up to the 140th anniversary of Oyasama, I have been shown various knots. The biggest one was in 2021, when, due to certain circumstances, I had to request permission from the head minister of my grand church to relocate my church. Out of his deep parental heart, he graciously granted my request. Furthermore, when the time came in June to receive the divine sanction, because I was unable to travel to Japan because of COVID, he and the other head ministers of my upper churches attended on my behalf, for which I am deeply grateful. The church was relocated to a building across the street known as Fukyo no Ie, or Missionary House, which had been purchased by my grand church many years earlier. As the building was quite old, it required extensive renovations, including re-roofing, electrical upgrades, and expanding the interior to accommodate a new sanctuary. However, my main concern was finding someone who could help me build the new sanctuary. Ideally, someone familiar with Tendikyo. I was at my wit's end, desperately searching for a Japanese carpenter, but to no avail. Fortunately, Reverend Kei heard about my situation and introduced me to her yoboku, Bob, who lived about an hour's drive from my church. This was truly a blessing. Bob the Builder, as my granddaughters affectionately called him, worked tirelessly with his team to complete the renovations and build the sanctuary in time for the enshrinement service on December 5th. With Bob and his wife Patty as our honored guests, and together with the followers of Joyous Fellowship, who are also affiliated with Konohana Grand Church, we joyfully conducted the service. Out of an abundance of caution, everyone wore masks, and my elderly members were advised to refrain from attending. Honestly, with no prior experience in renovation or building a new sanctuary, there were days when I felt lost. However, I truly felt the blessings of God the Parent, guiding me every step of the way as everything progressed smoothly. I believe this was due to the merit accumulated by my late parents, the first head minister and his wife, and the sincere dedication of the members of my church. Merit or virtue is like a seed that can sprout in the future, and if accepted by God the Parent, it becomes a basis of receiving God the Parent's blessings. When a person follows the path in accordance with the will of God the Parent, such merit is bestowed on the person's soul. In the divine directions, it is written, "If you understand now and resolve to follow the path in the future, no matter how difficult it may be, God will accept your heart now. Make your resolution quickly. If you make your resolution, there is no telling how much merit you will receive." The divine directions also state, "Try serving the path a little. You would never know how much merit you would have. It is also of utmost importance to make efforts of contribution and dedication with the mind of gratitude and joy. As it is written in the divine directions, I do not bless you for the things you offer. It is a mind filled with gratitude that I accept. Offer to me your minds filled with promise. Then I shall accept. If you do it with tears, God cannot accept. In the Anecdotes of Oyasama, number 144, entitled The Virtue Which Reaches Heaven, Oyasama was detained in Nara prison, and Chuzaburo, Koda, was also held in custody for 10 days. While imprisoned, Chuzaburo was ordered by a jailer to clean the toilets. When he came back to Oyasama after he finished cleaning, Oyasama asked him what he thought of having been made to clean such filthy places as toilets. Chuzaburo replied, I think I am serving God whatever I do, so I am very happy, he answered. Oyasama said, You are right. If you do something with gratitude, no matter how hard or unpleasant it may be, your virtue will reach heaven. Virtue is accepted by God, will be turned into joy. But no matter how hard or trying the work that you do may be, if you do it complaining, how hard it is, how I hate it, the complaints will also reach heaven and be returned to you in kind. My parents and followers devoted themselves joyfully and spiritedly to spreading the teachings and engaging in salvation work, despite their limited English proficiency. They also frequently held yard sales to raise funds for church activities. My mother would point to Tendikyo Vancouver sign hanging outside the building, handing out pamphlets, and encourage customers to step inside and see the sanctuary. Little did we know that this would eventually lead to trouble. 30 years ago, during the year of Oyasama's 110th anniversary, the church was shown a knot that caused us considerable anxiety. The third Shimbashira expressed his hope to see the jiba bustling with followers, attending the church headquarters monthly services throughout the anniversary year. In his earnest desire to fulfill the Shimbashira's wishes, my father, the first head minister, resolved to return every month. While he was in Jiba, we held a yard sale for 2 days at the end of February. At the beginning of March, an inspector from Vancouver City Hall suddenly visited our church, saying they had received a complaint from someone claiming that this building is a church. I told her that we are a society under the Beast Societies Act and a registered charity. Then the inspector explained matter-of-factly that there are strict zoning laws regarding churches, and to put it simply, a church cannot operate in a house. Therefore, we must stop all activities immediately. She told me to take down all the church posters, put away the chairs, and most painfully, to remove the Tendikyo Vancouver Church sign. The simplest way to obtain official recognition as a church would be to purchase an already established one. My father had just returned from Jiba, and both he and my mother were in utter shock as I explained everything that the inspector had said. Then it finally dawned on me. The church was going to be shut down. Suddenly, tears welled up in my eyes, and the inspector looked at me in surprise, asking, "Why are you crying?" I told her how much hard work and devotion my parents and followers had put into the building this church. Then somewhat unexpectedly, her expression softened. After a brief pause to consider the situation, she said that since there had been no prior complaints, the sanctuary could be regarded as a family shrine, albeit a rather large one. She further noted that because we are a registered society, only current members may gather to participate in activities. However, the church sign would need to be removed. We would not be permitted to promote the religion to the public, and we would be required to have adequate fire extinguishers in the building. Although it was deeply disappointing that we had to take down the church sign, we were very grateful to be able to continue holding services and other activities. It was truly a blessing. In gratitude, the head ministers and followers made great efforts to return to Jiba as often as possible during the year of the 110th anniversary, inviting their family members and friends. In total, 70 trips were made, including 12 by the head minister, with many followers making multiple trips as well. These core members of the church have been devoted to the path since its early days as a fellowship and have played a vital role in establishing Vancouver Church. Their sincere and unwavering faith has always been a great inspiration to me. Coming to church daily for either the morning or evening services and offering prayers for those who were ill came naturally to them. Many years ago, we had a follower who frequently took part in pilgrimages to Jiba. Later in life, he developed kidney failure and required dialysis every 3 days. However, this did not deter him from returning to Jiba, as he arranged dialysis treatments in advance at Ikoenoye Hospital and other medical facilities each time. He firmly believed that he would make it to all those appointments. He showed me that we can receive blessings by placing our complete trust in God. Sadly, over the years, the core members have passed away one by one for rebirth, with 4 of them passing on in just the past 2 years. Most of the remaining elderly members have moved into retirement homes, bringing their symbols of worship with them. One member who makes daily offerings carefully saves the rice, collecting it in a container. Once it is full, she gives it to a staff member, explaining that it has been offered to God. The staff member always appears deeply pleased to receive it. This 94-year-old church member is very proud to be Tendikyo and makes sure everyone in the care facility knows it. She always looks forward to my visits, waiting for me to bring the monthly Tendi Ikiki newsletters and the food offerings from the church's monthly service, which she happily shares with others in their retirement home. Her example emphasizes the importance of having confidence in the teachings. Finally, another follower reminded me of the importance of the principle, constancy is sincerity. She has followed the path for over 60 years, and her sincerity has remained unchanged. For many years, she and her husband came to worship at our church on the 5th, 16th, and 23rd, the days when our upper churches and the grand church hold their monthly services, as well as on the 26th, the monthly service at church headquarters. During the COVID pandemic, she became creative and decided to worship by phone, a practice she continues to this day. She also expresses her sincerity by offering bottles of sake on the birthdays of each family member. At first, they were just a family of 5. Over the years, however, the family has grown as the children have had children of their own, and the number of bottles of sake has increased as well. Although she is 91 years old, she is quite mobile for her age and accompanies me when we visit other elderly members to administer the sazuke and takes part in our monthly services. I have been truly blessed with wonderful role models who have shown me how to sow seeds of sincerity. I pray that their efforts of contribution and dedication are accepted by God the Parent. As it is written in the divine directions, I have firmly accepted the efforts of contribution and dedication you have made until now. I have accepted them as the truth for a lifetime and for eternity. Thank you very much for your kind attention.